Summer has a very funny way of sneaking up on us, and if we are not careful, we start to treat our summer schedule and our summer routines as if it's business as usual. But the truth is, a lot has changed when your kids are in school, and then all of a sudden the school year ends and they are at home or they are now in camps. Your schedule has to adjust. That means you have to adjust. And today I want us to talk about how to kind of combat some of the summer chaos that comes with an adjustment in our routine, and some tools and tips that we can start to utilize to help us not feel so overwhelmed and overmanaged when it comes to our summer schedule. If you are new here, hello and welcome. My name is Chastity. I am a licensed therapist and the founder of Very Common, where we help you manage all things between your personal, home, family, and work life to help you have a more organized and intentional life. If you're anything like me, you get a little your heart starts to palpitate a little bit as you're thinking about what you're going to do for the summer as soon as the teachers start sending out that end of the week here, end of the week there. This ceremony's at 9:15. We know y'all got to work, but be here for your kid, or they're gonna cry and think you don't care about them because the other parents could be. That right, it starts to creep up on you. I think a lot of us enter into the summer thinking that we'll have the same type of predictability and therefore productivity that we would typically have in the fall and spring. Sometimes things pop up that are not typical for your fall and spring schedule. First, starting out, if you are the type of mom that you put your kids in summer camp and different activities, it's not a full day that they are involved in those activities. It's usually like a half a day, or the camps last a week or a couple days, and then it's on to the next. So there's a lot of ramping yourself and your kids up for this new activity, and then winding them down for that, and then starting up. So this always like start stop situation that you're doing with your summer schedule can feel a little bit off-putting, and that's not the predictability that we are used to, again, when things are flowing in that fall and spring schedule. And honestly, that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see busy women, working women get into when it comes to treating seasonal transitions. It's like, yes, this is a temporary time, but how can we treat this temporary transition in this temporary time so that we are not filled with chaos and overwhelm internally? And then we're lashing out on our kids, or we're this person that we don't recognize. And yes, we're supposed to be free and breezy with the summer. We're supposed to be having vacations. We're supposed to be having fun. And yet there's this inner angst that we have. So the mistake of treating the summer as you think you can treat the fall and spring is that number one mistake that I see. The thing here is to be able to approach the things that you have to do for the summer, one, with grace, but also with visibility of what you have going on so that you can make the best decisions for you and your family. So right now I'm going to show you how to create this visibility across what you're doing for yourself, because we cannot forget about you, your family, what your kids got going on, what your husband, whatever they have going on, what's happening in your home, and what's happening at work. I'm going to walk you through the process that I use every week to not only see the things that I need to see, but free up that mental space of like, oh, I have to do something this, and this is what is happening here. When you have everything visible in one spot, it decreases that overwhelm so that you can have a free for all summer. You can frolic. You can actually enjoy your family and yourself and the projects that you have going on at work without feeling behind or like, come on, let's wrap up summer. These kids need to go back to school. So for the purposes of today, I'm going to be using Very Common's Undated Weekly Deluxe Planner Insert that allows you to see all of the tasks for the week, all of those kind of call outs that are very important for each day. We call those daily overviews. And then your weekly schedule for what is happening with every member of your family, including yourself, every role that you are occupying throughout the summer, so that nothing gets left behind. So as I am going through the Undated Weekly Planner, I'm always thinking back to, first, what are the goals and some of those routines that I set at the beginning of the month to help me stay on target with the goals that I have for myself, the goals that I have for my family and work, projects that I have going at home or work, so that I have that. I'm not just setting a goal at the beginning of the month, but I'm integrating those goals into my weekly and daily processes, and ultimately creating a system of being able to reach those goals. And once I have identified the priorities for those four different categories, myself, my family, my home, and my work, then I'm looking at those call outs for each individual day, right? If I have a meeting that's happening Tuesday at 9 a.m., I know that I cannot be the one to drop off or pick up that day because it might interrupt the flow that I have for that meeting. Same thing, we can flip it, right? If I have something that's very important, like an appointment that can only be scheduled at this time of year for my kiddos or for myself, or something that's happened with my husband that we need to kind of have eyes on, then I cannot schedule anything important for work. It has to hold off. So having that visibility of those daily call outs is what is important. And then having a schedule, and for the Undated Weekly Deluxe, we have the schedule from 6 to 9, having a schedule to say, okay, every day this camp is happening for this, or every day during this time, if you are doing a hybrid of having your kids at home or your kids at a camp, this is the structure that is happening for our family. And so having a schedule that allows you to see everything that's happening, everything that is competing for your attention in any given week, allows you to stay focused and that visibility on what truly matters. Again, I like to track how I am doing when it comes to meeting my monthly goals and creating those systems so that I can meet those monthly goals. So I track that also within the week. Now, I have to be honest, sometimes when I am doing weekly planning, especially like this, it can feel a bit redundant to write out all of the things multiple times, right? You're calling out things in the to-do list section, your priorities for the week, you're calling out there. And then you might also call it out when you're doing your daily overview. And you might also call it out when you're doing your schedule. You can think of an approach of like using each section of this specific planner to call out specific things. Obviously, you have all of your priorities when it comes to those to-dos, but maybe on the daily overview, maybe you can think about just writing things that are personal to you, right? And then on the schedule side, that is what takes up the whole gamut of your priorities in that hour by hour schedule that you have for you and what's happening at work, home, and everything in between. So you can utilize something like the Undated Weekly Deluxe Planner to help you stay on top of what's happening in the summer. But I do want you to know that this is a time for you to be flexible with yourself, to have grace for yourself, to relax and have fun. Some things may not be as predictable as they are when things are in full motion when the kids are at school. But that doesn't mean that you just let everything go and be overwhelmed in the process. There is an in between, and I hope something like this gives you a starting point to create that for yourself. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, and leave any questions in the comments, or just tell me how you utilize weekly planning or your systems throughout the summer to help you keep the overwhelm down and the structure and fun up during these summer months. I'll talk to you later.